Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a fantastic, energetic weekend. Back on here, as you guys know. For you guys that are listening to me live, welcome. I'm on here normally, generally, Monday to Friday, UK time, 9 o'clock UK time. So for you guys that are listening in on the podcast, the Game Changers Experience, all the links will be below by today. Today's thing is all around about how you get yourself out of a state of confusion. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a time in your life where you've I don't know, where you're in a bit of a rut, okay? And confusion can really, I suppose, affect your productivity. It can affect your mindset. It can affect so many different things. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to get out of 5 top tips about how to get out of confusion. So if you're listening to me right now, do me a favor, use hashtag live or use the hashtag replay. Obviously, if you're listening to this through the podcast, then you're not going to be doing that. However, what I was going to say to you guys, if you are listening to me live as well, give us a like, share, or a comment on the comment section below, of course. You're welcome to do so. And for you guys that are listening in on the podcast, I was going to recommend that you were to click on the links below, and we'll make sure that those links are available to you so that you're able to get access to them. So let's talk a little bit about today's interesting topic, right? Now, one way or another, probably most of us have experienced some sort of, I don't know, call it confusion, right? Or when you get kind of stuck in a rut, right? Most of us have experienced that one way or another. And sometimes it can feel like you're a little bit lost, you're a little bit confused. You need to, and productivity and efficiency is really affected. But then your mindset starts to drift. Do you know what I mean? It certainly does for me anyway. The way that I've experienced it's you kind of don't get up with intention. You're not as passionate about what you do because there's this state of confusion about which direction you need to go and things like that. Maybe you're just kind of doing too many things, right? So I think it's really important to go back to understanding, what is the big vision? Why do you do what you do? And it's not about understanding about, family, doing it for kids and doing it for your wife or spouse or whatever it is, okay? Doing it for Aston Martins or whatever it is. But the point that I'm trying to make is to go back to what the vision is. What is your actual vision? Okay, so I really want you to think about going back to your vision. And most people of us have all got a vision. So most of us have got a vision, and so we've really got to get a picture in our mind. We've really got to get a picture in our mind about what that particularly looks like. Okay, so I was going to say to you. So yes, you've got to get some real clarity around the vision and what that looks like. So that's the first thing. Secondly, is to then focus, get some clarity around, going back to the why. So Simon Sinek actually has got a great video on YouTube called The Why, and I think it's like the third biggest, most viewed video in the world, or what in TED Talks and whatever it is. Going back to the why, what is your purpose? Okay, really, really super important. The other thing I was going to suggest to you as well is that when you're in a bit of a rut, one of the biggest things that gets neglected is self-care. And when we think about self-care, of course, we think about what you guys are doing in terms of your mindset. What are you doing on a regular basis? What are you doing on a regular basis with regards to keeping your mind clear, keeping your self-care in terms of what are you doing on are you journaling, for example? Are you exercising? Are you eating healthy food? Really invest in your self-care is one of the biggest things that you can do in your life. Okay. Secondly, is to think a little bit about so you're starting investing in in self-care, but the other thing is visualization. And one of the things that we used to do as athletes, of course, is we used to, on a regular basis, we used to visualize the end game, right? And then from that, we then was able to then reverse engineer the process. I think it's extremely important to have that visualization in your mind. Like, what is the end game? And then being able to reverse engineer that process is going to help you to, again, get back in a state of momentum. I think it's really, really important. The third one, okay, which I think again is a really, really, really important, is try to not resist. And what I mean by that is I love talking about the importance of flow state. So flow state is effectively like, if things are going really, really well, and things are going really, really well, and you've and the universe is sending you signals that you're doing the right things, right? Okay, so you've got good energy, etc. But then there's this element of resistance from yourself, whether it be because of fear, whether it be because of your past, or whatever it is. But go with the flow, right? So that's my third big tip, is to go with the flow. Thinking about your energy flow state, but go with the flow. Okay, park those fears, park those limiting beliefs behind you, because if you resist, what you're going to do is you're going to slow yourself down, like astronomically. So just go with the flow state. Super, super, super important. Tip number 4. My fourth tip is all about, is to think about, like, what do you appreciate in life? And I always go back, and again, I journal quite a lot. So I write down in my journal of things that I appreciate, the things that create happiness and abundance. What are the things that I'm grateful for myself today, for example? What are the things that, and it could be family, it could be friends, it could be someone that bought you lunch, for example. Like, what are you most grateful for, right? So showing gratitude and appreciation, again, is a great way to reflect and have a different perspective of life, okay? If you've got a different perspective, then it's going to help you, again, help you clear that brain fog, if you like. Super, super important. I think my last tip, really, with regards to getting out of a state of confusion, is, again, thinking about, like, what is it that you actually want to achieve? Like, what are your goals, your objectives? Okay, thinking about, like, what is it that you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it, which is ultimately so important. So goals and objectives, and maybe there is some deadlines set with that as well. So try to get specific with regards to those goals. Why is it that you want to achieve those goals? For what reason? Is it aligned to your vision? Again, it completely depends on it. Well, actually, in fact, it doesn't depend on which industry you're in and who you are, where you're at. These fundamentals are absolutely critical if you want to get from a place of confusion to clarity. Okay, because I'm big into clarity and things like that. So I hope these tips are good for you. So just in summary, tip number 1, self-care. Right, so invest in self-care, and that's also thinking about your mindset as well. So we're not just talking about physical health, self-care in terms of the food that you eat, in terms of the exercise that you do, and things like that. The second thing is all around visualization. So what are you visualizing? What are you visualizing on a daily basis? Right, that's going to help you to get you from a place of where you're at right now to a place where you want to go. So that's the second one. The third place is think about the vision. What is the vision? What is the long-term vision, right? And really to think about, like, what is the legacy piece behind that? Okay, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years' time? Tip number 3. Okay, tip number 4. Talk about the importance of journaling and gratitude and appreciation, because if you know more about what you appreciate in life and things, it will give you a slightly different reflection and a different perspective. Super important, right? And number 5 is goals and objectives, right? Thinking about, like, are your goals and objectives aligned to your vision? If they're not, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Okay, so those are my 5 top tips, guys. I hope that has given you some different perspective today. For you guys that are listening into us live and also on the podcast as well, we've got a business grow quiz, which you can see down here. And for you guys that are listening in, of course, you can, of course, click on the links below, which in fact what we'll do is there is a link already below, but like I said, click on the links below to get access to the Business Grow Quiz. What that will actually give you to do, it will give you some benchmarks about how crystal clear clarity your business strategy is for exponential growth. So there we all go. Anyway, thanks very much, Jessica. Really appreciate you. It's always good. Do you know what? I love doing these shows, but purely because I love having engagement and stuff like that. So guys, hope you enjoyed today's amazing show. We'll be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. UK time, and for another 10-minute business accelerator takeover. Take care. We'll see you soon. Cheers.